Welcome to the show. It's time to dive in. Talking sports with Evan. Let the fun begin. From the Brewers to the Packers, we cover it all. Wisconsin pride, we stand tall. The Baggers on the field making history. With every touchdown, it's a victory. From Camp Randall to the court, we cheer loud. Wisconsin sports, we make our state proud. Feel the energy, the passion in the air. Join the conversation, we got stories to share. From the Bucks' big wins to the Brewers' great plays, we'll keep you entertained through all the games. Hey, sports with Evan, it's where we belong.
Good evening, happy Wednesday, and this is Talking Sports with Evan. And I guess not really a happy Wednesday if you're a Brewer fan, but not really a happy Wednesday there. But it is a fun Wednesday as I'm bringing you another episode of Talking Sports with Evan. I had a deadline edition last week Monday, and here I'm on Wednesday, and coming off a Brewer loss. I was hoping to talk about the Brewers' continued success. As the last time I did the show, that's what I was pretty much talking about. But things are not going very well if you're a Brewer fan right now. And I'm going to discuss what my biggest concerns are and if the Brewers are in trouble. Packers play their first preseason game tomorrow at the time of the recording of this show. And I am going to kind of talk about things I'm looking forward to most in the Packers preseason opener. Now, we don't know who's going to play and how many snaps they're going to play and who and when and what and why, but it's still Packer football. And I'm looking forward to being at a bar watching the Packers play with my buddy Scott, something I didn't get to do much last year due to work schedule and probably won't as well again this year, but hey, I'm going to take advantage of the opportunities when I can. And the NFL season in general is right around the corner. And like last year, I'm going to give every burning question I have for all 32 NFL teams. And give my thoughts on out of last year's playoff teams. I kind of spoiled it a couple weeks ago with Alex Stroh, but out of last year's playoff team, who's most likely to miss the playoffs? That's the other conversation I am going to have. So you can find Talking Sports with Evan on Facebook. I'm going to post the YouTube link on there tomorrow. You can watch it live on Twitter at Evan with Sports or on YouTube, Talking Sports with Evan. Or you can find it on Spotify, the little QR code in the corner of the screen. You can scan that, and it'll take you right to the Talking Sports with Evan Spotify page, and you can listen to this show and every other past show I've ever done. And I'm working on finalizing a guest for next week, Monday, but the plan is I will have a guest next week, Monday, and he is somebody that is very well in tune with what's going on with the Green Bay Packers. So I'm looking forward to having him on the show. I will announce the name probably Sunday on who's coming on, but he's around the team quite a bit. I'm sure you've seen him in the photos and the pictures from the locker room and the videos when guys are doing interviews in the locker room. You've probably seen him in those shots. But starting with the Milwaukee Brewers, very frustrating loss. Very frustrating extra innings loss. They get swept by the Padres. A 4-game series with the Dodgers coming up, who are also struggling big time right now. And the Cubs now 3.5, soon to be 3 games behind the Milwaukee Brewers for first place in the division. So there's a really good chance that after the game on Sunday, the Brewers might not be in first place anymore. And they are a team that was firing on all cylinders at the end of July. But month of August comes, and now they're 6-6 so far in the month of August. Frustrating. It's really all I can think of at this point right now to talk about the Brewers. It's frustrating. It's very frustrating, very hard to watch. I put on Twitter at Evan with Sports that the Brewer team right now, the way the Brewers are playing right now, is kind of like they were playing back in May of 2025 before they started going on a hot streak. I think it was May 20th or May 23rd last season where something clicked and the Brewers had a bunch of winning streaks. They had an 8-game, an 11-game, eventually a 14 game. The 11th win of that 14-game winning streak was actually just very recently. I think today is the anniversary of that. But the way the Brewers are playing right now is the way they were playing in May of last year before they got hot. And you don't want to go into August and play your worst baseball of the season in August. The 5-5 over their last 10. The hitting is atrocious. They can't hit with runners on base. They had 13 left on base today. They were 2 of 15 with runners in scoring position today. They had the bases loaded with a 1-run lead in the top of the 11th inning, where if you get just one more run across, you're likely winning that game. Instead, they only got the 1 run across, and the Padres scored 2. In extra innings, I'm always a big supporter of, and I know it's not just me, everybody with a brain thinks this way, so I guess I shouldn't make it seem like this is my belief. But you got to get at least 2 runs. You got to get that second run across. You get that first run across, you get a 1-run lead, you get that second run across, that guy at second can't tie the game. Unfortunately, the Brewers couldn't do it. And there's just a lot frustrating right now with the Brewers. I know injuries are hurting them right now. Cooper Pratt's on the IL till the end of the month. Jojo Romero, that we haven't seen him yet. He'll probably be another 2 weeks away. Jackson Cheerios apparently being bothered by a sore thumb. It might be Bryce Terang, but today the manager said it was Jackson Cheerios, so who knows? Laura looks like he got banged up a little bit on Sunday, but you wouldn't think that watching him play the field today. William Contreras can't hit his way out of a wet paper bag. Christian Yelich is a shell of his former self. Garrett Mitchell's in a slump. The only guys really hitting right now for the Brewers is Jackson Cheerio and Jake Bauers. You get some nice hits from Terang here and there, but ultimately that's it. The Brewers' offense is bad. I mean, NLCS level bad right now. And you watch the energy. You watch how they're carrying themselves. You watch how they approach. Everything like that. There's no energy. They're not. There seems to be no energy there. Last year was all about the Woodpeckers. Just keep pecking away, pecking away, pecking away. There's no Woodpeckers anymore. What happened to the damn Woodpeckers? Does Pat Murphy still have that photo of the Woodpecker in his office? If not, he needs to find that and remind the team who the hell they are. Because right now they're playing like the worst team in baseball. That's the energy I'm seeing. And then their plays they routinely make in the infield, they're botching. They botched the double play attempt today against the Padres. They're committing errors that they typically don't commit. They're not hustling to first base as a pitcher. Like I didn't see a lot of hustle in Ashby today getting to first base. I know that's a tough race for him to win, but he wasn't running like he wanted to win that race. I think he was indecisive on wondering what I think it was Andrew Vaughn or Bowers, I forget who, was going to do. The Brewers aren't doing the small things well right now. They're not getting the runner on base, moving the runner to the next base. They're not stealing bases really well right now. I haven't seen the Brewers caught stealing this often in quite a while. Ashby's not been good. Patrick hasn't been good. You're limited on arms in the bullpen you can depend on right now. And I don't know where it ends. I don't know where this probably worst stretch of baseball of this season for the Brewers end. And the Brewers have a series with the Cubs coming up in a couple weeks. And the way the Brewers are looking right now, they might be in second place in the division during that series rather than being in first place. But I got concerns with the Brewers. I get there's ebbs and flows in baseball. teams get hot, teams get cold. You know, I always say don't get too high on the high, don't get too low on the lows. That's what I stress every season when it comes to baseball. But when we get to August, almost September, we're about 3 weeks away from September. We need to start playing our best baseball. Jake Bauer said today, after the group won 3 of 28 with runners in scoring position and being swept by the Padres, it seems to be trying to make it happen, which of course is just a human thing, right? So I just think we need to chill the F out a little bit. Will that be hard to do with Dodger Stadium as a next step? Bauer, what's the worst that can happen, huh? We got swept on the road. We just did. We're going to live. Just go in there, focus on what we can control, and try to win some baseball games. And the Brewers did fare pretty well against the Dodgers in the regular season last year. I think they swept them. But it's not the situation you want to be in. You just got swept by the Padres, who are playing some pretty good baseball right now. The Cubs are breathing down your neck, soon to be 3 games behind you, assuming they hold off for the win today. Last I saw, they were winning. And they're up 9-5 in the top of the 6th inning. So they're likely going to be 3 games behind you going into the Brewers having a 4-game stretch against the Dodgers. The Dodgers aren't playing really good baseball either. So clearly something's got to give. Now the Cubs play the Nationals again tomorrow, and then they go on a weekend series with the St. Louis Cardinals. So I guess you can hope that the St. Louis Cardinals can play some spoiler and help the Brewers out a little bit. The Brewers helped them out by giving them 2 pieces and now have them ranked the 2nd best farm system in baseball. The least the Cardinals can do is scratch the Brewers back. But my question for you all, Brewer fans, if you're watching, listening, you can text the Talking Sports with Evan talk and text line. That's at the bottom of the screen, 414-454-9771. You can comment on the talk and text line, or you can comment in the comments on YouTube or on Twitter. So are you worried right now about the Milwaukee Brewers, or do we just need to tap the brakes and chill? Because I got some worry to me right now. The injuries are catching up. The lack of bullpen outside of a couple guys is starting to catch up. Not playing fun. And the thing is, if the Brewers were losing and they were still playing fundamental baseball, they were still running the bases well, they were still stealing the bases well, they were showing some emotion and energy, which we didn't see until the couple nice catches by Mitchell to send it to I want to say extra innings. I could be wrong, but I think Mitchell sent it to extras, or at least sent it to the 11th. And Laura giving the Brewers a chance to try to send it to the 12th, but unfortunately, the Padre player got his hand down. I haven't seen any emotion until those plays. So, yes, I got some worry. I got some worry about what the Brewers are doing right now. 2 of 15 with 13 runners left on base. They can't hit, they can't field, they can't cover bases, and they can't steal bases. Those are all things the Brewers do extraordinarily well, and they can at the moment. So, yes, I got a little bit of worry with what I'm seeing the Brewers do right now. But hey, come Monday, when I'm talking with the next episode of Talking Sports with Evan with my guest, it could be a complete 180. The Brewers could sweep the Dodgers in LA. The Cubs can get swept by the by the Cardinals, or the Brewers can take 3 of 4 and the Cubs lose 2 of 3, and we're right back where we were prior to the Padres series. That's the thing with baseball; it can change so quickly. But at the end of the day, I am a little worried about what the Brewers are doing right now. They definitely have me worried right now. And I wouldn't say the trade deadline is haunting them, because Dustin May pitched great. The guy out of the bullpen today, they gave up the tying and winning run, but he's been pitching pretty well. And it's not like the Brewers didn't try to get an arm at the deadline. Not arm, I mean a bat at the deadline. It's not like they didn't try. It just didn't happen. The Padres, who were supposed to be sellers, leading up to the deadline, every article written, every conversation had was the Padres were going to be sellers. The Blue Jays were going to be sellers. The Padres bought. The Blue Jays traded away their one of their starting pitches, and you're thinking, okay, maybe the Blue Jays are open for business. Nope, they ended up trading for a pitcher from the Angels, who a lot of us were hoping the Brewers would get. There just weren't trades to be had. At the end of the day, there weren't trades to be had, and it takes two to tango. They had as Matt Arnold called it, a reckless trade package for Tarek Skubal, and they went with the Dodgers offer. And I hear that they didn't want to part with Logan Henderson, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't want to part with Logan Henderson either. And it's very fitting that against the Dodgers, we're going to have Logan Henderson against Tarek Skubal. So I guess if Henderson doesn't pitch absolutely perfect in that game, we're going to have a lot of people complaining about not trading for Tarek Skubal. I'm sure we're going to have, but I digress. Let's talk some football. I'm gonna change gears here. Gonna talk some football. And what are you most looking forward to for the Packers' first preseason game against the Pittsburgh Steelers? First of all, the NFL dropped the ball. Like, what are we doing, NFL? Why is this game in Pittsburgh when you put the schedule together? Packers, Steelers. Mike McCarthy is the head coach of the Steelers. There's a very good possibility that Aaron Rodgers is going to, if he plays this season, he's going to play with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So why NFL? Why do you put this game in Pittsburgh? It's dumb. Like, you have a season worth of stories that the ESPN/NFL network could run about Aaron Rodgers playing in Green Bay for one last time. His last biking to practice with the fans. His last walking around Lambeau Field. He wanted to talk to the athletic trainers and walk in the training room and whatnot. He played for Green Bay, obviously, for a large chunk of his career. And now he's playing against them for the final time, for the only time, in Green Bay. And you put it in Pittsburgh. Stupid. Absolutely stupid. Absolutely dumb. That game should be at Lambeau Field. And the NFL is stupid for putting it in Pittsburgh. All I can say about that. But what am I most looking forward to, or what am I most looking at during the Packers' first preseason game? Well, there's a couple areas. One, Jaeger, however you pronounce his name. I'm interested to see how he does against other NFL players, not on his own team, how he does against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he has a good chance of winning a starting job on this offensive line. Belton has been moving around a bit. Again, hasn't been that great at guard. Banks is hurt again. Monk and him have been getting a lot of reps at guard. I'm kind of curious to see if Jaeger can own that position, can take a hold of that position and not give it back. I liked when they drafted him out of Kentucky. I like his personality. I like his attitude. And now to see what he does going up against a different team rather than your own players every day in practice and family night. That's number one, what I'm looking at. Number two, Cisse. Brandon Cisse, the rookie corner out of South Carolina. I want to see him against some other teams, because he's been in Matthew Golden and Christian Watson back pocket at times. Like, is he really earning a starting job right now? I want to see what he does under the bright lights in Pittsburgh. Going up against, I doubt he's going to play, but going up against DK Metcalf. Going up against a quarterback like Well, Aaron Rodgers is going to play, but still, you get my point. I want to see what Cisse does in a Packer uniform going up against another team. He has been very impressive thus far in camp, and I'm excited to see what happens there. I also am looking hard at the pass rush. We're not going to have Micah Parsons for the first 5 weeks for sure this season, maybe longer, maybe before, maybe by week 6. We don't know. But who's going to step up? Is it Oliver? Is it Sorrell? Is it LVN? Is it the dentist? Is it Brenton Cox? We don't talk about him very often anymore. Who is going to step up as an edge guy and lead this pass rush while Micah Parsons is recovering from his ACL? Those are really the big 3 areas I'm watching in reality. That's the 3 big areas I'm watching tomorrow. And I know we're not going to get the answer on who's going to lead the pass rushing group moving forward without Micah, but this is a big first step on figuring that out. You can text the show 414-454-9771, 414-454-9771. That is the Talking Sports with Evan talk and text line. You can also comment in the comments on this video on YouTube and Twitter and let me know what you will be watching for when the Packers take the field for the first time in training and during training camp tomorrow in preseason week number 1. Now, I did this last year. I enjoyed it, and I'm going to do it again this year. I'm going to go NFL team by NFL team and give you 1, maybe 2 burning questions for each team. I'm going to start in the AFC East. Start with the Miami Dolphins. How is Malik Willis going to do as a starter? Now, in Green Bay, as the backup, he did great when he came in. But how is he going to do as the guy? And how is Jeff Hafley going to handle being a head coach? The New York Football Jets, are they going to win more than 2 games? That's my question. They're not very good. They brought in Geno Smith, who wasn't good his first go-around in New York, and I don't think he has enough left in the tank to be good in his second go-around in New York. Buffalo, is Josh Allen going to get some help? The wide receiver room didn't do the best last year. Is somebody going to step up and give him some help? In New England, the Super Bowl hangover, is it going to affect them? The off-the-field drama involving their head coach and a NFL reporter, is that going to cause distractions in New England? So those are my big questions right now with the AFC East. In the AFC North, Cincinnati Bengals. Going to sound like a broken record here because I'm going to say it again. Can Joe Burrow stay healthy? When Joe Burrow is healthy, he has shown that he is one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL, and he has 2 of the better wide receivers in the NFL to throw the football to. Can he finally stay healthy? Pittsburgh. What does the old ball coach Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers have in store for 2026? Aaron Rodgers' swan song. The Steelers might not have appeared in the Super Bowl since 2010, but they've been consistently finishing above 500 and making the playoffs during the entire Mike Tomlin era. So can Mike McCarthy keep them playing competitively this season? And the Cleveland Browns. Where are the Cleveland Browns? If you watch TikTok, you know that reference. Quarterback. A lot of the teams in the NFL, who's going to play quarterback for them? It doesn't matter what anybody else on the roster does. If your quarterback, Deshaun Watson, plays like he has the last time he was able to play, or Shedeur Sanders is your starting quarterback, you're not going to be very good. And Baltimore, how's the first-year head coach going to do? How's Lamar Jackson going to do now, a different offensive coordinator? How is Baltimore going to do without Hardball on their sidelines for the first time since the new millennium? A little after the new millennium, but you get my point. The AFC South. Was Daniel Jones fool's gold last year? Prior to injury, Daniel Jones was playing very good football. Was that just fool's gold? Or is that the Daniel Jones we're going to see moving forward? Houston Texans, can you please protect CJ Stroud? You have a franchise caliber quarterback who has stalled in his development because you can't protect him. He got his ass beat up in the playoffs. He got beat up against Buffalo. I think that was Buffalo. Yeah. He got his ass beat. Can you please get him some help up front? Give him some time to throw the football. You got arguably the top defense in the NFL this year on paper, but can you protect your quarterback so you're not playing every game as a one possession game? The Tennessee Titans. Is Cam Ward the real deal? He had some ups and downs in year one, made some rookie mistakes. Is Cam Ward the real deal? This is the year we're going to find out. Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence finally played like a NFL caliber quarterback for an entire season. Can he do it again? AFC West. The Chargers, Los Angeles Chargers. Can Justin Herbert take that next step as a quarterback? Because that's what's stopping the Chargers from being a perennial contender in the AFC and just being a fringe playoff team. It's Justin Herbert. It's Justin Herbert not taking that next step as a quarterback. Kansas City. Is Pat Mahomes healthy? Can their wide receivers stay out of trouble? Is their wide receiver room going to be better this year than it was last year? So that's 3 questions. The Las Vegas Raiders. That defense is going to potentially be really good. The question is Mendoza, is he ready to start? Because Kirk Cousins isn't a starter in this league anymore. You didn't sign Kirk Cousins because you want Kirk Cousins to be your starting quarterback. He's a backup now. He is strictly a backup quarterback only. And if you're starting him week 1, then maybe you made the wrong decision. And the Denver Broncos, all about the health of Bo Nix. They were likely going to the Super Bowl last year until he broke his ankle in the playoff win over the Bills, and then they couldn't do anything in the snow globe against the Patriots. If Bo Nix can be healthy and take that next step as a quarterback, Denver could be a Super Bowl team. Jumping to the NFC and the NFC East, the New York Football Giants and Jackson Dart. Nothing else matters except Jackson Dart. You got the pieces of a very good pass rush. You have a running back that will literally try to run through a brick wall if you let him. Please don't let him, but he would if you let him. The offensive line on paper looks better. Neighbors, not sure when he'll be back. But Jackson Dart, that's the guy you drafted in the first round. Is he going to show you why you took him in round 1? The Washington Commanders, Jaden Daniels' health. The Commanders 2 years ago made the NFC Championship game before losing to Philadelphia. And it was on the arm and legs of Jaden Daniels. Last year, Jaden Daniels seemed to hurt every single body part you can possibly think of. Can he stay healthy? That was my concern with him coming into the league, is he has a smaller frame. Is he going to get beat up at the next level? And right now he's getting beat up at the next level. Philadelphia Eagles. Did you get the offensive coordinator position right? At the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters. You didn't get the hire right when you lost the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. You got it right when you hired Kellen Moore. You didn't get it right after you beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And now you have a first-year coordinator. Question is, did you get it right? And the Dallas Cowboys. The defense, the biggest question. Offensively, on paper, they got a really talented roster on offense. Defense, their defense wasn't very good last year. Did they do enough with the addition of Rashawn Gary? Not a huge addition if you're a Packer fan like I am, but did they do enough with that addition to sort of fortify themselves as a team that can get after the quarterback? Jumping to the NFC North, Minnesota Vikings, quarterback, Kyler Murray. He just got named the starter. Which Kyler Murray are we going to see? The quarterback that looks like he's a bust and can't stay healthy, or a quarterback that showed flashes of playing really good football? The Chicago Bears. They just lost Kobe Bryant. Not that Kobe Bryant, but they just lost Kobe Bryant for a good chunk of the year on a defense that wasn't very good last year. Can they overcome that? And then, of course, Caleb Williams. What is he going to do this year as a starter? He was really, really bad at times last year, and he was really good at times last year. There was no consistency. Either he was really bad or really good. No in between. And playing in the NFL as a quarterback, now I know I've never played quarterback before, especially in the NFL, but consistency is important. You got to be able to play 4 solid quarters of football week in and week out if you truly want to have a chance. You can't go down you can't play every game from behind in the fourth quarter and hope to pull the game out of your ass. Because some of those games where Caleb Williams saved the Bears, and Bear fans don't want to hear this, but it's the truth. I'm going to be very honest and truthful here. Some of the games that Caleb Williams brought you back from behind, Caleb Williams was responsible for. His inaccuracy, his inability to not get sacked, his recklessness with the football, his turnovers. They all contributed to the Bears now having to come from behind. So, yes, it's great to celebrate Caleb Williams' come from behind victories, but in reality, he put you there most of the time. The Green Bay Packers' health, that's going to be the biggest question. They were a damn good football team last year when they went into Denver. They were at a double-digit lead against Denver, but then you lost Micah Parsons. You lost Tucker Kraft earlier that year. You just lost more bodies than you can overcome, and you ended up finishing 9-7-1. Health is going to be a huge question. The other question is, has Matt LaFleur evolved? I'm very curious how close he was to actually losing his job after the collapse in Chicago in the playoffs. I'm very curious on how close he was to actually losing his job. But has Matt LaFleur evolved as the head coach? He claims that he went back to day one, pretty much day one install, starting all over again, throwing everything out, and it's all about what is Jordan Love comfortable running. That's what I've read out of an article from the Athletic earlier this week. So that's the big question on Green Bay. And Detroit. Does Dan Campbell, did he do a good job with the coordinator hires? The coordinator hires weren't very good last year. He lost Aaron Glenn and he lost Ben Johnson, and the defensive coordinator and the offensive coordinator overall were not very good. So now how does year 2 fare? Jumping to the NFC South, the New Orleans Saints. Quarterback's a big question. Does the quarterback take the next step? Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield's health. Wasn't healthy last year, and the Buccaneers collapsed. Atlanta, who the hell is going to play quarterback for you? Is it Tua? Is it Michael Penix? And either way, neither of them are really good options for you. So, Bijan Robinson, yeah, we just paid you, but we're going to run the living crap out of you this season. And Carolina, offensive line, both their starting tackles are out for a good chunk this season. Rasheed Walker looks to be the starting left tackle. Can they protect Bryce Young, who took a huge step in his second year. And then the best division in football a year ago, the NFC West, the Los Angeles Rams. Can Matt Stafford's back hold up? Can Puka be healthy? Can Puka stay sane and not completely lose his mind like it looked like he was going to do this offseason? Seattle Seahawks, you lost your offensive coordinator. Sam Darnold finally played like a MVP caliber quarterback, won you the Super Bowl, but now you had to hire a new OC. Did you get it right? Arizona, they have so many questions. The quarterback room, the running back room, because you got like 12 running backs. I know you drafted a guy in the first round at the third or fourth pick in the entire draft, but you have a lot of running backs on that roster. You just have a lot of holes. And then the San Francisco 49ers, biggest question for them, I'm going to sound like a broken record because it was the same issue last year. It was the same issue the year before that. It's basically been the same issue ever since they last went to the Super Bowl, and that is health. They're the least healthiest team in the NFL year in, year out. They lost one of their wide receivers for the season already. Deebo Samuel's back. Can they stay healthy? Well, thank you so much for tuning into the show. I know I jumped on earlier than I said I would, but I figured why the hell not? But you can find the show on YouTube, on Twitter, or on Spotify. Spotify will drop tomorrow morning. Until next week, Monday is the next Talking Sports with Evan, 6 o'clock. Make sure to tune in. Talk about the Packer preseason game and hopefully some positive Brewer news for a change. It's been about a week and a half since I've gotten to be positive about the Brewers. So with that said, hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will talk to you later. Take care.